Hi, welcome to Point Blank. I'm Daryl.
I'm Po Kwan.
And tonight we're going to be touching on the benefits and pitfalls of social networking sites.
Yeah, and we're talking about things like, Facebook, Friendster, and the like. I mean, things that are very close to our hearts. Joining us in studio, we have Mr. Kwan Jin Yao,
Public Relations Manager for voluntary group Project Within. Yeah. And we also have Miss Shahira Al-Qadri, a couch surfer, and Mr. Tejulin, legendary ST crime reporter.
Our own journalist. Yeah.
Before we head into the meat of the discussion, let's take a look at this clip.
He is working on an article. She is serving the net for ideas. And they are editing the news clips for the next bulletin. But what they have in common is, one of the windows on their taskbars will always lead them to a social networking site. In fact, updating their personal profiles, checking if they've been tagged in photos, commenting on their friends' walls, lurking and poking around have all become part of their daily routines. While many hook on to these sites to stay connected with friends, some are also actively forming groups or joining them. Most of them are harmless interest groups, but there's also a growing presence of communities which advocate undesirable causes. For instance, a local group on Friendster pledges to arrange morally objectionable sex parties for its members. Disturbing images like these are also seen on some Facebook groups made of snuff film enthusiasts. These members enjoy sharing about movies which depict actual violent murders of people. Recently, Facebook also shut down a group called Knights in Support of the Invasion after noting its intention to wage jihad and support radical Islam. Still, there are many groups out there which advocate potentially damaging lifestyle choices. Amongst them are many pro-ANA groups on MySpace, LiveJournal, and Facebook. Members in these groups exchange extreme dieting and exercising tips, inspiration pictures of models and real girls. They spur each other on to maintain their lifestyle choice and not to receive treatment for their eating disorders. So, shall we wipe out these interest groups, or should they be left alone? And how can we counter the potential negative influences of these groups on social networking sites?
Jin Yao, I know that you are part of the voluntary group called Project Within, which is a group that spreads basically, anti-anorexia kind of messages. So how do you see these kind of pro-ANA websites?
Well, basically, as you can see from the video just now, it's what we call inspiration, and they're everywhere in social networking sites. They're on MySpace, on LiveJournal, on Facebook. And basically, it's a community of eating disorders patients, and it's a community where they discuss dieting tips, extreme dieting tips, exercising tips, what slimming pills to take. And it's quite an unhealthy trend because, it's a group of unhealthy people trying to advocate this lifestyle in which eating disorders are perpetuated. So it's very unhealthy, actually.
Okay, no, because I was looking at some of, for those of you that are not very familiar, it's more like anorexia, it's a debilitating illness. And then I was looking at their likes and dislikes, and they're saying that their interests include Lipton, cup of soup, plants, Sudoku to keep me distracted from food, cooking, cleaning, and tabloids. I love losing weight. And I run only when I'm thin. I love shopping and watching movies. So it's like the pictures that they have down there, all of them are very excruciatingly thin, right?
Skeletons,
Is it a big thing in Singapore though?
It's very hard to gauge because it's online. You don't know, most of them are anonymous. You don't know if they're from Singapore, from Europe, from America. And that's the problem because we don't know how many groups are there from Singapore. But what we know is that there are a lot of members out there. And I mean, with the proliferation of new media, Singapore girls and even guys sometimes have this access to these websites increasingly. And as I said just now, they list interests like that. They even list interesting things like green tea because they think it's full of antioxidants and it's easy to gain weight and makes them feel full. So it's this place where they exchange dieting tips, and perhaps this catching up on Singapore, but the problem is we don't have the statistics to prove that as well, and it's hard to detect because there's so many out there.
All right. When MySpace was questioned, by some members of the community that, why don't you ban these groups? Then they were saying, because, there are also benefits of these groups because you can identify where they congregate online, and from there, you can probably offer some help to them. Do you agree with that?
In fact, actually, there are 2 points. It's very hard to say whether not to clamp them down now, because for one, if you clamp them down, they're going to come back even harder. They're going to come up with more sites, more dieting tips. You never know what will happen. The second thing is that some girls say that, after going to these sites, they see that the girls are very miserable, they're never happy, they're always sad, they're always talking about trying to
Carbos make you happy.
Yeah, but some of them think that, discussing this makes them feel very sad. And when they go on these forums, they actually get turned off. So it's very hard to see whether it's positive or negative. It's a mix of both, actually.
Okay,
So,
wait.
yeah.
Let's ask Shahira and Julian for their opinions. Okay, Shahira, go first, because you are a girl. Are there a lot of anorexic guys? Sorry.
Statistically,
There's more girls, right?
more girls. In 10 anorexics, 1 is a guy. So it's 10% guys.
Okay.
Alright. Yeah.
So now,
have you come across any of these pro-anal sites yourself?
Very seldom. I guess I don't really.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I don't get drawn into such things or know many people who are into it, so not really.
Or what about other sites that could have potentially undesirable social impacts?
I mean, we're talking about social networking sites where I think there's right now quite a lot of websites where people of like-minded narrow interests can just converge on the same website. These are basically quite narrow interest groups. For example, I just came across one group the other day for people who are into amputees.
oh yeah, that's quite These are all fetishes that are quite
ambiguous. I mean, it's
ambiguous
arguable.
because some people actually like it, and it's not.
It's hard to say they're wrong.
Yeah, it's hard to say they're wrong.
But the internet gives them a chance to just form an interest group online.
Yeah.
Maybe a website or a portal where similar like-minded individuals from elsewhere in the world, wherever the internet connection, can just converge. And they can just talk to each other and exchange information and tips.
Okay, so what about the amputees one that you're talking about?
Well, I mean, I just came across it, and basically
okay.
it's just a site where people, they all tend to, it's like a fetish of sorts, if you like, and just going there.
Yeah.
And I suppose before the internet, it would be harder for, say, somebody in a country to just link up with people who have similar interests. I mean, same for anorexia and so on. Or even just making friends.
The one of the worst cases is actually it's quite clear cut. That one is actually snuff films, where they snuff films is where they kill people online and all that. I mean, they film it, and it's sort of
it's for entertainment, which is very disturbing.
Yeah,
right?
and in August 2007, a video was posted on a Russian version of LiveJournal, where a user named Anti-Gypsy, he basically killed people and put it on his site, which is very disturbing because there is no filter. So I mean, these are not in the 100 sites that
were banned.
Yeah, were banned and all that. So it's LiveJournal and all that. So what are your thoughts about it?
Should these webmasters of the social networking sites do more to clamp down sites like this, which have potentially negative influences?
Well, I guess they should, but I think it all comes down to the whole freedom of speech thing that people always throw at you, and they will fight for their rights. I mean, different countries have different laws and regulations on that. So, unlike Singapore, where we are a bit more controlled as compared to other countries, I think such sites here would not last very long if there were any. But
when I think about it, we don't really know everything that's going on in the length and breadth of the internet, right?
Yeah.
For you, how do you start on this project within Ting?
Well, basically, it was a campaign because one of our friends or colleagues actually had anorexia, and eating disorder, and I mean the process itself is quite painful because it's a psychological disorder, but it has physical effects as well. I mean, right now she can't digest things like milk and fat products, so it's quite.
She can't digest
She can't.
it.
Yeah.
Why?
Because many anorexics, in fact, only 1 out of 5 anorexics make complete recoveries, which means that the remaining it's actually a fatal disease. It's the highest fertility for psychological disorders actually, and in fact those who actually don't recover completely. They have repercussions like menstrual problems, digestive problems, as I said just now.
Okay, this is because they are all emaciated until the point where their body starts breaking down, is
Right,
it?
yeah.
Yeah. So if you can't beat them, you join them. Right? I understand that Project Within has a group.
He looks
itself.
like not anorexic.
Not joining the pro inner
Not yet.
sites, but I know they actually have an anti-anorexic sites, that is like for Project Within, and is to inspire teenage girls in Singapore to stay away from these pro inner sites. So can you tell us more about it?
I wouldn't really say it's anti-Anna or anti-Mia. They call it Mia.
What's Mia, sorry?
For bulimia. It's a cute
Oh.
name for bulimia.
Like Mia, Anna.
Yeah.
Like, but
And-
all. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
we wouldn't say it's anti-anorexia because that's not the crux of the problem.
Okay.
Anorexia, eating disorders itself is a psychological disorder, and it stems from a lack of self-esteem. And so what we want to do is not to, go head-on against anorexia because that's not a wise thing to do. I think the next best thing to do is actually to let these individuals, girls and guys, realize that the importance of self-esteem, to be confident about oneself, and regardless of how you look or how your appearances are, it's more important that is within. So when you try to let individuals know that it's what's inside them matters actually.
Okay. At this point, I'm going to ask you guys, have you guys had any bad experiences with social networking services? Besides the Pro Anna, you guys, besides yours was the amputees one, right? Was that a bad experience for you?
Oh no, I mean, just information I came across.
Oh, information. So you can store it next time if I want to.
I actually felt quite disturbed, when you introduced me to the site, to the group with snuff film pictures and posters. Yeah, I thought it was quite gory and all that.
On the record, I just searched online. It wasn't in my bookmarks folder that I was like,
Or your favorite folder.
I have to share this information. Hey, but you guys, for me, social networking services, I don't know where it starts from there, but mine started from Alamak chat, I was telling you. It's sort of like a chat line thing. And from then on, nothing really much. I guess because I'm not
a teen anymore.
yeah, I mean, when I was young, nobody wanted to take advantage of me, that's for sure. They didn't want to, hey, this guy. I didn't look rich, I didn't look, desirable. So anyway, on to you. Any bad experiences so far?
I mean, there are really random weird people online. You go into chat rooms, you have they're really nice people and they're really weird people out there. I had this guy actually proposed to me. I was 16.
Lucky you.
Some people go through their whole lives without being proposed to.
That's just really weird, and all sort of propositions, get thrown at you over the internet, and like I said, you don't know who's on the other end. It could be really a guy, it could be a girl, it could be some psychopath. You don't know. So you just got to be really careful when you are.
I think a lot of times it's actually a psychopath or some weird dude.
Weirdo.
Yeah.
But I guess some people feel flattered when they receive propositions like that, from strangers. I'm not sure if you are one of them.
No, I don't know. Julian, when people ask you on your social networking sites, hey, Julian, want to go out on a date or whatever?
Well, these are mostly friends, but I do have friends who actually, girls, who met guys online, and they really hit it off. So it became really good friends. So they will log on at certain times in the day to just chat for 1 or 2 hours. I mean,
are they from different time zones?
Well, I do know of somebody who actually
Long distance,
met a guy while playing World of Warcraft, and later on they were and they were farming together and just chatting.
That's quite romantic.
Yeah.
I mean, it came to the point when they actually arranged to meet up somewhere, fly to the same place to meet up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But I think that was a happy ending kind of story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we come back, we'll poll people on the streets, and we'll also find out more about a case of underage sex between an 11-year-old girl and a 16-year-old teen when we come back. Stay with us.